right, let's talk about something that most people are too shy to say out loud, but we're going there today. Because when it comes to love, real love, not just chemistry or convenience, there's a completely different energy behind how a man shows up. You see, any guy can show desire, any guy can go through the motions, but there are certain things, deep, subtle, powerful things, that only come out during those most intimate moments when his feelings are real, when his love is genuine. When a man is genuinely in love, his entire approach to intimacy shifts from self-serving to selfless. One of the clearest signs of this is that he begins to prioritize your pleasure over his own. Now, that doesn't mean he neglects his desires or isn't interested in receiving affection himself. But it does mean that your experience becomes just as important, if not more important, than his. This isn't about performance. It's not about trying to impress you with skill or stamina. It's about presence, care, and genuine emotional investment in your happiness. A man who truly loves you will pay attention to the details of what brings you joy. He'll listen to your body, your reactions, your breathing. He'll notice the subtle shifts, the things you lean into, the things you pull away from. He becomes a student of your pleasure, not because he feels obligated, but because he genuinely wants to see you fully expressed, fully satisfied, and deeply connected. Your pleasure becomes his pleasure, not in a controlling way, but in a loving, giving way that stems from emotional intimacy. When the love is real, foreplay becomes an act of worship rather than a step to get through. He's not rushing to the main event. He's savoring the process, making sure you feel seen, cherished, and desired in every moment. His hands move with intention. His lips search for yours, not just out of lust, but to communicate something deeper: respect, admiration, and connection. He's not asking, how quickly can I get what I want, but instead, how can I make this an experience where she feels completely safe and celebrated? This kind of man takes the time to understand what you need emotionally to open up physically. If you need to talk, he listens. If you need reassurance, he offers it freely. If you're nervous or unsure, he doesn't pressure. You'll never feel like you're on a timeline. He allows space for you to relax, to trust, and to feel into the experience in your own way. His patience isn't a tactic. It's a reflection of how deeply he cares about your well-being and your emotional state. There's also a powerful vulnerability in how he shows up. He's not just trying to get the job done. He's present with you, moment by moment. He doesn't disappear into his head or chase an end goal. He stays with you, physically and emotionally. He's attuned to your rhythms, your needs, your shifts in energy. And even if he doesn't get it right all the time, he's open to learning. He welcomes your feedback, your cues, and your preferences, because he understands that making love isn't a performance. It's a collaboration. And when love is involved, that collaboration becomes something sacred. His focus isn't transactional. He's not giving to get. He's giving because it brings him joy to see you lit up, fulfilled, and relaxed in his presence. He's not measuring his worth by how much pleasure he delivers, but his effort shows that your satisfaction is a genuine priority. This doesn't mean he always knows what to do or that every moment is perfect, but you'll feel the difference in his energy. There's no selfish urgency. There's no scripted routine. There's a real man showing up with real emotion, seeking to create an experience that's meaningful, not just pleasurable. Even the way he touches you reflects this difference. It's not hurried or mechanical. It's exploratory, intentional, and responsive. He's not just touching your body. He's trying to connect with your soul. You feel him with you, not at you. You feel invited, not used, desired, not consumed. And that distinction changes everything. When a man is truly in love, the way he looks at you during the most intimate moments is fundamentally different. Eye contact becomes more than just a sensual connection. It transforms into a window into his emotional world. One of the clearest signs that a man's feelings are genuine is how consistently and deeply he maintains eye contact during lovemaking. It's not about dominance or seduction, it's about presence, vulnerability, and a deep emotional bond that he wants to express and share with you in the moment. Many people underestimate the power of eye contact. It's easy to assume that intimacy is purely about touch or physical closeness, but the eyes speak a language that goes beyond words. When a man locks eyes with you during lovemaking, and not just in fleeting glances, he's showing you that he's fully there. He's not lost in fantasy. He's not mentally somewhere else. He's not performing. He's connecting. He's letting you see him in his most raw and honest form. And he's also trying to see you. That kind of gaze is intentional, it's steady, it carries weight, and more often than not, it says what words can't. This eye contact, when done with love, carries a certain softness. There's no cold calculation, no distraction, no wandering. His eyes linger not just because he's attracted to you physically, but because he's emotionally moved by your presence. There's often a kind of awe in that look, as if he's still amazed that this moment is real, that you are real, and that the love he feels is being shared and returned. It's not a stare of possession or lust, it's a gaze that reflects tenderness, gratitude, and an emotional openness that few men reveal unless their feelings are truly deep. What's important to recognize is that this kind of eye contact requires a level of emotional safety and connection. A man won't look at you this way if he's guarded or distant. He'll only do it if he feels safe enough to be emotionally exposed, and if he cares enough to want you to feel the same. This is where the difference lies between a man who's just having sex and a man who's making love, because the latter is willing to be seen and wants to truly see you too. You might notice that during these moments, everything else seems to fade. There's no sense of rush, no distractions, just the two of you locked in this powerful emotional exchange through your eyes. Even if you're not speaking, the communication is clear. You'll see questions, reassurance, admiration, and sometimes even unspoken "I love yous" that don't need to be voiced. It's a look that asks, "Are you with me?" and simultaneously promises, "I'm right here." There's also an incredible level of attentiveness that comes with this kind of eye contact. He's not just physically close, he's emotionally attuned. He'll sense your reactions, your comfort, your shifts in energy, often without you needing to say anything. That kind of attunement is only possible when a man is emotionally invested, and often the eyes are the way he checks in with you. Not with pressure, but with genuine care. Now, this doesn't mean the eye contact is unbroken the entire time. It may come in waves, in moments of stillness, or during peaks of closeness, but what matters is the quality of those moments. When he looks into your eyes and holds your gaze with calm, unflinching emotion, it creates a powerful feeling of unity. You feel seen not just for your body, but for your essence. You feel connected not just by desire, but by love. There's something deeply grounding about that look, as if it anchors both of you in the same emotional space, regardless of everything happening around you. Even after the moment passes, those looks linger in your memory. They stay with you because they weren't just visual, they were emotional imprints. They remind you that what happened wasn't just physical release, but an exchange of something far deeper. A moment where love was not only felt, but silently, powerfully communicated through a look that could only come from someone who truly cares. And for the man, holding your gaze is also a form of surrender. It's his way of saying, "This is real for me. I'm not hiding, I'm all in." When a man is genuinely in love, one of the most noticeable differences in how he expresses himself during lovemaking is in the pace. He slows down. Not because he's unsure or hesitant, but because he wants to savor the connection. When love is real, the act is no longer just about release or physical satisfaction. It becomes about emotional presence. a shared experience, and a deeper form of intimacy. He's not rushing through it to get to the end. He's taking his time because every moment with you feels meaningful. And he wants both of you to feel that meaning deeply. The slow pace isn't just physical, it's emotional too. He becomes more in tune with the emotional undercurrent of what's happening between you. There's an attentiveness to your mood, your expressions, your energy. He's not pushing forward blindly. He's responding, adjusting, listening. This kind of slowness isn't passive, it's deeply active. It's a conscious choice to stay connected, to hold space, and to make sure you're both moving together emotionally as well as physically. When a man slows down in this way, it's a reflection of his desire to make the moment not just pleasurable, but emotionally safe and fulfilling. In a world where speed is often mistaken for passion, this kind of slowing down becomes incredibly powerful. It's the difference between being consumed and being cherished. A man who truly loves you will want to make you feel that you matter in every second. He doesn't want the experience to be a blur. He wants you to feel every touch, every kiss, every breath, and to know that none of it is accidental. His presence becomes more deliberate, his movements more thoughtful. It's a kind of reverence that speaks volumes about the depth of his feelings. There's a tenderness that emerges when he takes his time. He's not just focusing on his own excitement, he's immersed in yours. He notices how your body reacts to different kinds of touch. He pauses to look at you, to check in, to align with where you are emotionally. There's a fluid give and take, a rhythm that isn't driven by urgency but by mutual connection. It becomes less about what's next and more about what's now. And in that space, trust deepens. You feel seen, heard, and most importantly, valued. The slowness also allows for vulnerability, something that many men may struggle to show in other areas of life. But when love is genuine and he feels safe enough to be himself with you, he lets his guard down. He lets go of ego. He stops trying to prove anything and instead lets the moment unfold naturally. That vulnerability shows in how gently he holds you, in how openly he expresses emotion through touch, and in how willing he is to be fully present without distraction. He's not trying to impress you, he's trying to connect with you. There's also an emotional stillness that comes with this kind of intimacy. Even in the middle of movement, there's a calmness that surrounds both of you. It's like the outside world disappears, and all that exists is the quiet rhythm of two people deeply attuned to each other. That kind of stillness doesn't come from technique or strategy. It comes from love. From caring enough to slow down, to really feel, and to let you feel safe doing the same. It creates a space where intimacy becomes not just about physical closeness, but about emotional unity. Slowing down also shows his willingness to create an experience that is equal, shared, and meaningful. He's not just taking what he wants, he's giving, offering, inviting. He's tuned in to the emotional heartbeat of the moment. He senses when something needs to pause, when it needs to shift, and when it's right to move forward. That sensitivity is a product of genuine care. He's not relying on guesswork or assumptions, he's paying attention. And in that attention you feel honored rather than objectified. This slower approach creates room for emotional connection to grow even stronger. There's space to laugh, to hold each other, to whisper things that matter. There's space for intimacy to be more than just touch, for it to be emotional dialogue without words. You feel more than just desired, you feel chosen. And he feels more than just excited. He feels bonded. It becomes a shared energy that doesn't rush or demand, but invites both of you to truly be present with one another. When a man is genuinely in love, one of the most profound ways it shows up during lovemaking is in his attentiveness to your comfort and boundaries. He doesn't just want you to enjoy the experience, he wants you to feel safe, respected, and fully in control of what's happening. This is a level of care that goes beyond attraction or desire. It reflects emotional maturity and a deep sense of respect for you as a person, not just a partner in the moment. His goal isn't to push limits or see how far he can go. It's to create an environment where you feel free to express yourself without fear, pressure, or discomfort. This kind of man is tuned into the unspoken cues just as much as the spoken ones. He's not waiting for you to say no to recognize hesitation or discomfort. He's watching your body language, listening to the tone in your voice and feeling your energy. He notices if you tense up, if your breathing changes, if your reactions shift in any way. And rather than ignore or override those signals, he responds with care and gentleness. He slows down, he checks in, he gives you space. He doesn't take your presence for granted. He continuously earns your trust with every touch and every moment. Communication becomes a quiet but constant thread in how he approaches intimacy. Even if it's not verbal, you can feel that he's always asking, "Are you okay? Does this feel good for you? Is this something you want?" He might check in directly with words, or he might simply pause and look at you, giving you the chance to guide what happens next. His ego isn't tied to being right or always knowing what you want. He's open, receptive, and more concerned about your experience than his pride. This humility is one of the most powerful signs of real love. He doesn't need to be the expert, he wants to be a partner. When a man loves you, your comfort becomes non-negotiable for him. He's not interested in exploring fantasies at your expense. He's not trying to push you past your limits or introduce things you're not ready for. Instead, he creates space for mutual exploration, where consent is enthusiastic and both of you feel free to say yes or no at any point. There's no manipulation, no guilt, and no subtle pressure. You never feel like you have to go along with something to keep him interested or to meet some expectation. He makes it clear through his actions that your boundaries are honored and that your voice matters. In many ways, this level of attentiveness is also about patience. He doesn't rush you to open up. He understands that emotional and physical intimacy unfold differently for everyone, and he respects your pace. Whether it's your first time together or you've shared many moments, he never assumes entitlement. Each experience is treated with care, like something new to be discovered together, not something to be conquered or won. This patience isn't performative. It comes from a place of genuine love and respect, where he values your trust more than any momentary satisfaction. There's also a sensitivity to the emotional side of boundaries. He understands that sometimes past experiences or insecurities can shape how you respond in intimate situations. Instead of being frustrated or dismissive, he meets those things with empathy. If something triggers discomfort or brings up emotion, he doesn't make it about him. He listens, holds space, and offers support. He's not there just to share your body. He's there to share in your emotional world too. That emotional responsibility is something only a man who truly loves you is willing to take on, especially in vulnerable moments. When discomfort arises, he doesn't withdraw emotionally. He leans in, not physically, but emotionally, with reassurance, understanding, and a steady presence. He wants you to know that you're not alone in navigating your feelings, and that you never have to hide or minimize them to maintain the connection. This creates a powerful kind of safety, one where intimacy is not something to survive, but something to genuinely enjoy. In this space, boundaries don't feel like barriers, they feel like part of the rhythm, part of what makes the experience honest and beautiful. The care he takes with your comfort also extends beyond the bedroom. How he treats you before and after moments of physical closeness reflects his overall approach. He doesn't treat intimacy like a transaction or an obligation. It's an expression of love. And that love includes being emotionally available, gentle with your feelings, and protective of your emotional and physical well-being. You never feel objectified or like a means to an end. You feel valued, protected, and safe to be your full self. When a man truly loves a woman, communication becomes one of the most defining aspects of their intimate connection. This isn't limited to conversations outside the bedroom. It shows up before, during, and after lovemaking in subtle but significant ways. When love is genuine, the way he speaks to you and listens to you during these vulnerable moments reflects not just emotional intelligence, but deep care and connection. His words carry weight, not because they're perfectly crafted, but because they come from a place of honesty and emotional presence. He's not afraid of vulnerability, and he doesn't hide behind silence or bravado. He wants to connect, not just physically, but emotionally. Before intimacy even begins, he sets the tone by checking in with you, often without making it feel like a formal conversation. He might ask how your day was, not out of habit, but because he genuinely wants to know where your head and heart are. He might hold you, kiss you, or look into your eyes in a way that makes you feel chosen, not just desired. His communication is about creating emotional closeness before anything physical even happens. This isn't just foreplay, it's emotional groundwork. He knows that a strong emotional connection makes physical intimacy deeper and more meaningful, so he starts by building that bridge between the two of you. During lovemaking, his communication doesn't stop. It may not always be verbal. Sometimes it's the way he responds to your breath, the way he reads your body, or the soft whispers that keep you grounded in the moment. But if he does speak, it's not for show. It's intimate, thoughtful, and reflective of the bond you share. He might whisper affirmations, ask what you like, or tell you how he feels about you. He might pause to ask if something feels good or if you want something different. He doesn't assume he knows everything. He seeks connection through shared understanding. His willingness to communicate isn't about control, it's about collaboration. A man in love isn't afraid of vulnerability in the heat of the moment. He doesn't see communication as a distraction from passion, he sees it as part of it. He's not just talking to fill space or to impress you, he's letting you in moment by moment, and just as importantly, he's listening. He's attuned to how your body speaks, but he's also tuned into your voice, whether it's verbal feedback or a quiet yes or wait. He respects every signal you give because your experience matters deeply to him. Your voice carries equal weight to his desire, and he treats that with care. After lovemaking, communication continues in ways that often matter even more. He doesn't just roll over and disconnect. He holds you, he talks to you, or he stays close in silence, showing through his presence that the intimacy wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. He may express what he felt, what he loved about the experience, or simply stay close to offer comfort. This isn't about duty, it's about wanting you to feel secure, seen, and emotionally nurtured. He understands that the aftermath of intimacy can be just as vulnerable as the act itself, and he doesn't retreat from that vulnerability. He stays with it and with you. This kind of communication also builds over time. When a man loves you, he becomes increasingly curious about your inner world. He doesn't just want to know what feels good physically, he wants to know how you feel emotionally, what makes you feel safe, what opens your heart. This emotional curiosity strengthens the connection between you and deepens the trust. You feel like you can say anything, ask for anything, and express yourself without fear of judgment or rejection. That emotional safety is born from consistent, loving communication that extends far beyond the bedroom. Even when things don't go perfectly, communication remains open. If something feels off, he's willing to talk about it. If you're not in the mood, he doesn't take it personally or act out. He listens, understands, and adjusts without resentment. He makes you feel like your feelings are valid and important. That emotional maturity comes from a place of love, and it shows that he values your well-being more than his ego. Communication in this context becomes a tool for connection, not control. It's not about getting what he wants, it's about creating something meaningful together, something that feels safe, mutual, and real.